the Miss USA Beauty Pageant. Tonight, one of the girls you are about to see will be chosen the most beautiful girl in the USA. She will receive cash prizes, awards, and the opportunity to represent the United States in the pageant that chooses the most beautiful girl of them all, Miss Universe. And now, 51 of the most beautiful girls in the USA.
Pennsylvania and Nebraska, wherever my head turns, I see Fresco. And though we've never met, we're all proud to met. Everyone smiles, who cares about miles? I'm new to Miami Beach, but I feel like I belong. And if I succeed and reach the top, you'll hear me holler from Rhode Island to Alaska. I feel a warm welcome, though I've had to roam. From Arizona, Alabama, and Indiana, from West Virginia, Oklahoma, and Montana. I've never been here before, but I feel like I'm at home.
As television hostess, one of television's brightest stars, Miss June Lockhart. Tonight's special guest, singer John Gary. As pageant host, the popular MC of Truth or Consequences, Mr. Bob Barker. The Miss USA Beauty Pageant is brought to you by the creamiest, mildest ivory liquid ever, by Gain, the unbelievable detergent, and by Head & Shoulders Dandruff Shampoo.
This sunshine town, and now all my dreams have come true. And if I should win that crown tonight, you'll hear me shouting from Vermont to California. I feel a warm welcome, though I've had to roam. From Tennessee, New York, and North and South Dakota, from Colorado, Illinois, and Minnesota. I've never been here before, but I feel like I'm at home. In Miami Beach, I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm at
And now, your host, Mr. Bob Barker.
Good evening. Welcome to the 18th Miss USA Beauty Pageant. The name of the game is to pick one beautiful young lady from 51 equally beautiful young ladies. The lucky girl our judges select as Miss USA of 1969 will take over the crown and title of a lovely girl who stood beside me on this stage in tears last year when I called out her name. She's back with us tonight, and she's all smiles. The reigning Miss USA, Dee Dee Anstedt of Washington. And on Dee Dee's right, the most beautiful girl in the universe, Miss Universe of 1968, Brazil's Martha Vasconcelos. Now, before each of our beauty delegates introduces herself to you, let me tell you how they all came to be here tonight, because each of these girls is already a winner. During the past year, beginning right after last year's pageant, local pageants were held throughout the country to select the 51 state winners we have with us. Now, during the past week, preliminary judging has been held here in Miami Beach, and in just a few minutes, we'll hear our judges' votes for the 15 semifinalists. But first, a very important award. Each year, the girls themselves select Miss Unity. She's the girl who's most cooperative, most popular during the pageant. Now, as the girls come forward to the microphone to tell you their names and their hometowns, they'll pass in their ballots for Miss Unity. After the parade of states, I will announce the winner of this important award. All right? Look the girls over closely. Which one will be Miss USA of 1969? We present the Miss USA Parade of States. Miss Alabama.
Hitson Parnell, Thomasville.
Miss Alaska. Best state costume.
Linda Raleigh, Fairbanks.
Miss Arizona.
Ruth Harris, Tempe.
Miss Arkansas.
Leonette Reed, Heber Springs.
Miss California.
Charles K. Hayes, Sacramento.
Miss Colorado.
Susan Hawkins, Colorado Springs.
Miss Connecticut.
Elizabeth Wanderman, Wilton.
Miss Delaware.
Marcia Stoppel, Wilmington.
Miss District of Columbia.
Shelley Gosman, Washington, D.C.
Miss Florida.
Maria Junquera from Plant City.
Miss Georgia.
Judy Lyons, Atlanta.
Miss Hawaii.
Stephanie Quintana, Honolulu.
Miss Idaho.
Karen Tall, Rigby.
Miss Illinois.
Christine Jellaway, Chicago.
Miss Indiana.
Linda Lee Smith, Crown Point.
Miss Iowa.
Becky Stoner, Lorenz.
Miss Kansas.
Molly McGugan, Frankfurt.
Miss Kentucky.
Regina Pryor, Litchfield.
Miss Louisiana.
Patricia Dupree, Washington.
Miss Maine.
Elaine Baldick, Winslow.
Miss Maryland.
Artist Fowler, Ellicott City.
Miss Massachusetts.
Martha Colley, Needham.
Miss Michigan.
Lisa Brenner, Reed City.
Miss Minnesota.
Lorene Darling, Minneapolis.
Miss Mississippi.
Rosemary Ray, Ocean Springs.
Miss Missouri.
Sherry Hoffman, Kansas City.
Miss Montana.
Chris Jovan, Missoula.
Miss Nebraska.
Marilyn Poole, Omaha.
Miss Nevada.
Karen Esslinger, Las Vegas.
Miss New Hampshire.
Dottie Connors, Durham.
Miss New Jersey.
Nancy Fromell, Washington.
Miss New Mexico.
Mary Gard, Gladstone.
Miss New York.
Rosemary Joyce Raddick, West Hempstead, Long Island.
Miss North Carolina.
Faye Bass, Durham.
Miss North Dakota.
Becky Vance, Harvey.
Miss Ohio.
Marlene Singleton from Westerville.
Miss Oklahoma.
Deborah Pedersen, El Reno.
Miss Oregon.
Karen Morton, Salem.
Miss Pennsylvania.
Marlene Vaughan, Philadelphia.
Miss Rhode Island.
Donna Lewis, Providence.
Miss South Carolina.
Eva Engel, Columbia.
Miss South Dakota.
Mary Catherine Bergren, Sioux Falls.
Miss Tennessee.
Susie Richardson, Jackson.
Miss Texas.
Sandy Drews from Dallas.
Miss Utah.
Ann Mueller, Salt Lake City.
Miss Vermont.
Mary Verdiani, Montpelier.
Miss Virginia.
Wendy Daston, Danville.
Miss Washington.
Deborah Giverson, Seattle.
Miss West Virginia.
Betty Grimmer, Wheeling.
Miss Wisconsin.
Christine Sachin, Racine.
And Miss Wyoming.
Pam Lewis, Cheyenne.
And there you are, the parade of Miss USA beauties. And I have just been handed the card, which tells me that the Miss Unity Award for 1969, voted by the girls themselves, goes to Miss Vermont. Congratulations. Tell our audience your name.
Mary Verdiani,
And Mary, where do you live in Vermont?
Montpelier.
And I've had the opportunity to meet this girl and chat with her during the week. I want to compliment you other girls. This is one of the most lovable kooks we've had here in a long time. And here is your beautiful trophy as Miss Unity. There you are. Congratulations again, Mary. Thank you, girls.
Well, Miss Vermont must be a very happy young lady right now, because next to winning the title of Miss USA, being awarded the Miss Unity Trophy is the nicest thing that can happen to one of these girls. It's been a hectic and somewhat noisy week here, with 51 girls getting to know one another in the breaks between rehearsals. And if you wonder what the rehearsals are for, well, let me suggest that it's not pure luck that each one of the girls goes to the right direction in the paraded stage. That's the result of hours of hard work directed by the pageant staff. Now, right now, the judges' votes for the 15 semifinalists are in the hands of the official accountants. These semifinalists are the only girls who will compete in the swimsuit and evening gown presentations, and the only ones eligible for the title of Miss USA. Oh, and by the way, there are no rehearsals for what to do when you hear your name called out as a semifinalist. And now, let's turn our attention to your hands and this word from Ivory Liquid.
I've just been handed a card with the names of our 15 semifinalists on it. Now, I shall read these names in two groups. And because of the independent judging system, neither the judges nor the girls know the names on this list. Now, girls, if I should call your name, please come down beside me on stage. Good luck to all of you. Here we go with the first group of semifinalists. The very first name on the list is Miss Virginia. The next happy girl to join Miss Virginia is Miss Connecticut. Miss Arizona. And now, Miss Washington. Also very much in the running for the title Miss USA of 1969 is Miss Hawaii. Number 6 on the list is Miss New York. And now, the last place in this first group goes to Miss South Carolina. And these are our first 7 semifinalists. Congratulations, girls. Now, I'd like to chat with each girl for just a moment, if I may. From Connecticut here, we have Elizabeth Wanderman. And Elizabeth, where do you live in Connecticut?
Wilton.
And it must have been exciting to be the first girl called, or the second girl. You were the second girl called, weren't you?
Yes.
To get it over with so soon after waiting so long.
You're right.
You had
You're right.
your state pageant, and then you were here all week. It's been a struggle, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been very exhausting.
You've done a lot of smiling, haven't you?
Well, I'm very happy.
Well, I mean during the
being
week.
here.
I'm curious to know, how do you girls, what do you think about to keep smiling?
Well, it's really an honor being up here, representing your state.
Uh-huh.
And all the people we've met, they're so wonderful.
And that's enough to smile about?
That's quite enough.
Fine. Go right out on the ramp and smile for everyone. Will you please, Miss Connecticut? Miss Washington here is Deborah Giberson, and Deborah has gone to the University of Hawaii. She's gone to school in Germany. You're now in the University of Washington,
Yes, I am.
and I understand that you do work with children as well.
Oh, I do.
What do you do, Elizabeth?
Deborah.
Deborah, I'm sorry.
Well, I work in children's hospitals, and I just try to make children happy that are sick and that don't feel so well.
How do you go about handling children, Deborah?
Well, I just listen to them and let them talk, and I learn a lot from them.
And eventually they just run out
Eventually,
of things
they run out of things to say.
All right. Thank you, Miss Washington. Now, from New York, we have Rosemary Radick, and she's a student at Hofstra University. And what are some of your hobbies, Rosemary?
Oh, I enjoy gymnastics, and I dance folk dances from Hindus and Spanish.
You do Hindu dancing?
Yes, I learned it in my junior college in Massachusetts.
Well, how do you do Hindu dancing, may I ask?
Well, it's done to the beat of wood, and it's very rigid and set. It's more rhythmic than ballet or something else would be.
Somehow I can't picture you doing that, but I'm sure if you do it, it must be beautiful, Miss New York.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we have Miss South Carolina, who is Eva Engel, and you're a student where?
At Columbia College in Columbia.
And what are you studying, Eva?
I am studying to be an art major.
Hmm? And you are the tallest girl in the pageant, are you not?
Yes, sir, I think so.
How tall are you?
I am 5'10".
Eva, were you tall as a very young girl, or did you grow as time went on?
Well, I was taller than normal, but then at one summer, about 3 years ago, I grew about 4 inches in one spurt.
You grew 4 inches in one summer?
Just about.
When things got dull, your friends would just come over and watch Eva grow, huh? All right, well, they're going to watch Eva now in the Miss USA Beauty Pageant. Now, from Hawaii here, we have Stephanie Quintana. And, Stephanie, I understand that you want to become a securities salesman?
Yes, yes.
Well, you're such a lovely girl. I'm rather surprised. How did you become interested in securities?
My gentleman friend got me interested in it.
Your boyfriend?
Yes, yes.
You mean that under a Hawaiian moon, you and your boyfriend talk about securities?
Yes, it does get pretty romantic.
What else do you talk about?
Oh, keeping healthy.
Oh, Do you have a way of doing that? What,
yes,
what do you do?
He has me running 2 miles a day.
A girl as pretty as you are probably has to run 2 miles a day. That's right, Miss Hawaii. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Now, here we have from Arizona, pretty little Ruth Harris. And Ruth, congratulations on being one of our semifinalists.
Thank you.
We have a questionnaire that the girls all fill out when they come to the pageant here. And Ruth, you had a rather unusual answer, I understand, to the greatest man in the world. What did you put down?
I put to my brother, Lieutenant William H. Harris.
And tell us a little bit about Lieutenant William H. Harris.
Well, my brother is in Vietnam right now, and he has one of the greatest attitudes towards life I've ever seen, and he always makes everyone around him real happy.
Well, fine. I'm sure you're going to make all of us very happy, too, Miss Arizona. Now, from Virginia here, we have Wendy Dascom, who is a student at Stratford College. What class are you in?
I'm a freshman.
Oh, you're just a freshman?
That's right.
It's kind of tough sometimes as a freshman. Do you miss high school?
Oh, I really do.
What do you miss most?
Well, of course, mainly I miss my friends, but, well, throughout junior high and high school, I was a cheerleader, and I suppose I miss that. Not much chance at a girls' school and being a cheerleader.
I see. But you miss it.
I do.
How would you like to we don't have time for 15 rahs for the first, how would you like one big rah for the first group of semifinalists?
Wow.
Let's see.
That wasn't too good, was it?
I don't think it was so bad. Do you, ladies? Do you want to try again?
Yeah.
All right, well, just a minute. Wait, no. We want her happy. She wants to try again.
Rah.
That is better, yes. And there they are, our first group of semifinalists.
In case you've ever wondered how I get such a good seat each year, here's the secret. They build an 8x10 platform on top of the regular seats. The platform holds me, a camera, a cameraman, and a stage manager, but just barely. The TV director is tucked away in a big, dark room in the basement where he and about 56 other technicians watch television screens and choose the picture that you at home will see. Now, if this sounds confusing to you, just imagine how confusing it is to the girls in the pageant. But they all get a guided tour of the television setup and a chance to look at each other through a television camera. They probably go away from here knowing more about it than I do. I hope so, anyway. Now, let's look in on a cleanup problem and a story of a detergent that treats stains like dirt.
All right. You've met our first 7 semifinalists. I have 8 more names to read. Remember, these names are not in alphabetical order. Good luck, girls. Here we go. Miss New Mexico. And number 9 is Miss California. Also represented among the semifinalists is the great state of Nevada. Lucky number 11 goes to Miss Texas. And now, Miss Florida. Number 13 is not unlucky for Miss Alabama. Next, Miss Colorado. One more name will round out the 15 semifinalists, and that name is Miss Vermont. And here we have our second group of semifinalists. Congratulations, girls. now, Miss California is Troas Hayes, T-R-O-A-S. Troas,
Right.
congratulations.
Lois. Thank you.
That's a rather unusual name. Where did you get the name Troas?
Troas is a town between Bethlehem and Jerusalem that the Apostle Paul traveled through.
Huh?
It's a Bible name, and it was my father's middle name.
Your
He was
father's
supposed
name?
to have been a girl.
I see. Speaking of your father, how did he feel about you becoming Miss California?
My father was away on a camping trip, and when the news came out, he didn't hear it on the radio. So he came home about 4 or 5 days later, and my mother told him that I had won, and he wouldn't believe it. And she had to bring out all the newspaper clippings to prove it.
He wouldn't believe it?
No.
His name is Troas, too?
No, no.
His name is Troas, you
His
said?
middle name,
His middle
yes.
Well, someplace, Troas, I want you to know Troas is really here. She won, right? Congratulations. And Miss Texas is Sandy Drews. And Sandy, where do you live in Texas?
I live in Dallas.
And you're a disc jockey?
Right.
How long have you been a disc jockey?
I've been a disc jockey for just not quite a year yet.
Well, what sort of music do you play, Sandy?
Well, I'm on 2 different stations in Dallas. Can I mention the name?
No.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
KLIF in Dallas and KNUS.
Troas, remember those stations, too.
And it's a top 40 radio station, KLIF is, and KNUS is kind of an underground heavy music station.
Do you ever play records by such great names as Vincent Lopez,
Oh,
Claude Thornhill?
Oh, every day.
Do you really?
Sure.
Alan Jones and I will remember them, one of our judges down here. Thank you, Miss Texas. Now, Miss Alabama is Hitsy Parnell. And Hitsy, of course, is a nickname.
That's right.
Would you like to tell our audience about the little difficulty you and I had about your nickname?
It was so funny. Today we were backstage talking, and he said, I told him he was really good at remembering names, and he said, I can remember yours. Your name is Hipsy, isn't it? And I said, oh, no.
You wanted Hitsy, not Hipsy.
Right.
Of course, Sylvia Hitchcock of Alabama was Miss USA one year. Have you met her?
Yes, sir. She went to the university.
She
and
give
I knew
you
her there.
give you any advice?
She gave me a little before I came down, which helped.
What'd she tell you to do?
Smile.
What'd she tell you not to do?
Well, maybe I shouldn't say that.
Troas, you'll have to write for that. All right, thank you, Miss Alabama. Now, Mary Verdiani, this is your night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. You're Miss Unity. Now here you are among the semifinalists. How do you feel?
Ask me in about 2 weeks.
You have to go back and take finals, don't you?
Yeah, I have one on Monday.
Been doing a lot of studying here?
Yes, as I said before, what I do, I don't really have time to study, so I set my books around me while I'm putting my makeup on and get it through osmosis. Well, it works.
I think that's wonderful. If you pass, I know that it'll start a lot of osmosis studying. Thank you, Mary. Now, we have Susan Hawkins here from Colorado. And if you've been reading the local papers, you know she's a karate expert. They've had a lot of pictures of her in there demonstrating karate. How did you ever become interested in karate, Susan?
Well, 3 years ago, I was working at the teenage fair, and I stood around and watched the demonstrations. I was the only girl there, you know. And they had a drawing for free classes, and somehow I won this drawing. I think it was rigged. And that's how I won free lessons for a certain amount of time, and then I took it up myself.
And you're a black belt in karate?
Yes.
How does this affect your boyfriend?
Well, it works out pretty well because I
mean
make
they
a
like
pretty
it?
good bodyguard. Yeah.
You're the kind of a bodyguard everybody should have. Thank you, Miss Colorado. Now, Maria Junquera. From where in Florida?
I'm from Plant City.
How did your family feel about you becoming Miss Florida?
Oh, everyone was thrilled, especially my little brother.
Oh, what's his name?
Pepe's his nickname.
Pepe, what'd he do about it?
Well, I have a very business-minded little brother, and as soon as he found out I won the state title, he started selling my pictures and some of my personal possessions like shoes.
He's selling your pictures and shoes?
Yes.
Put me down for a picture, will you please, Miss Florida? Miss Nevada is Karen Esslinger, and she's attending the University of Nevada. What do you study?
I'm a home economics major.
Let's find out a little bit about your family. You have brothers and sisters?
No, I don't, but I have a lot of pets.
What kind of pets do you have?
I have 5 dogs, 4 cats, a pet monkey, and some horses.
How did you accumulate all these?
They seem to just wander into the yard.
And your family approves? What's your father think of it?
My father says he hopes and prays that a lonely elephant doesn't come our way.
All right, Miss Nevada.
Thank you.
And Miss New Mexico here is Mary Gard. From where in New Mexico?
I'm from Gladstone.
And, of course, that's the great Southwest cow country. Are you a cowgirl?
You bet I am.
Do you live on a ranch?
Yes, I do.
A working ranch?
Yes, it is. It's about 2,400 acres, a very small ranch, but it works.
Do you ride and take care of cattle and so on?
Yes, I do. And I show cattle also. My father raises registered Hereford cattle, and when I was younger, I was in 4-H, and I took livestock projects through this. And in livestock, you groom them more or less like you would a beauty pageant winner.
Well, I think you summed that up very nicely. Would you just go right out there, please, and join our semifinals? And there they are, our 15 semifinals. Thank you, girls. Now, one of these girls will be Miss USA of 1969. Which one will she be?
I'm sure you recognize the young lady next to me, Miss USA 1968, Didi Anstedt, who had the thrill of being selected as a semifinalist twice, once in Miss USA and again in the Miss Universe pageant. Now, can you remember what was in your mind this time last year?
Gee, I was just thinking there are so many people back home in Kirkland, Washington, that had really supported me. And at this point, they get a chance to see me on television, so I was just happy to be there as a semifinalist, and I really wasn't thinking any farther than that right then.
Oh. Well, tell me, were you nervous about your interview with Bob Barker?
No, everyone got to know Bob Barker a little bit, and he'd asked me about my family, and I explained how I had 8 brothers and sisters. Then he asked me about mealtime, and I told him we can eat as much as we can, as fast as we can, and I've tried to live that down all year.
Oh, did you have a good time as Miss USA?
I really had a great year. Being from such a large family under normal circumstances, I don't think I could have traveled as far as I did. I got around the world. And I don't think I could have met as many people, so it was really a terrific year.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I wish you the best of luck, and congratulations on having been such a lovely Miss USA.
Thank you very much.
And now, we have an important moment presented to you by new antiperspirant Secret.
Our lucky semifinalists are backstage now, changing for the swimsuit competition. And while they're getting ready, here to sing for you is our handsome guest star, John Gary. Thank you,
Well, I'm sitting on top of the world, rolling along, and I'm quitting the blues of the world, singing a song, just singing a song. Glory, hallelujah, I just phoned the parson. Hey, Pa, get ready to call. Just like a Humpty Dumpty, I'm gonna fall. And I'm sitting on top of the world, rolling along. I don't want any millions, I'm getting my share. I've only got one suit, just one, that's all I can wear. A bundle of money won't make me feel gay. A sweet little honey is making me say, well, I'm sitting on top of the world, rolling along, and I'm quitting the blues of the world, just singing a song. Glory, hallelujah, I just phoned the parson. Hey, Pa, get ready to call. Just like a Humpty Dumpty, I'm gonna fall. and I'm sitting on top of the world, just rolling along, rolling along. While I'm sitting on top, singing a song.
Thank you very much. I'm told the most difficult job each year at the Miss USA pageant is that of choosing a winner. Obviously it is. So that you will be acquainted with some of the judges who are so ably handling that job, let me introduce to you some of those distinguished people. I'd like, first of all, for Julie Newmar to stand up. Julie Newmar. Julie Newmar, Broadway television and motion picture star, soon to be seen in The Maltese Bippy. Bob Lardine, feature writer, The New York Sunday News. Ben Novak, chairman of the board and owner of the Fontainebleau Hotel. Herbert Kupferberg, associate editor of Parade magazine, and also author of the book, Those Fabulous Philadelphians. Gail Fisher, stage and television actress, co-star of CBS's Mannix. Richard J. Knight, Avis executive and vice president. Jack Crucian, fabulous, famous television motion picture character actor. And Alan Jones, internationally famous singing star and father of another singer named Jack. And Nan Kempner, associate editor of Harper's Bazaar magazine. And Alan Reisner, motion picture and television director. And Hy Gardner, Hy's world-renowned journalist and author of syndicated newspaper column, I'm Glad You Asked That.
Thank you, John, and thank you, judges.
Miss Universe 1968, Martha Vasconcelos of Brazil, is here tonight as a special guest of the Miss USA pageant, and I've invited her up here to my nest to talk for a few minutes. Now, last year when you were crowned Miss Universe, I remember you were a very big favorite with the audience in the auditorium.
At that time of the year, they have about 300 students from Brazil in the University of Miami studying English, and they always come to the auditorium to see the Miss Universe pageant, and they are cheer for the Miss Brazil.
Oh, I see. Well, how was your year as Miss Universe?
It was very nice. I had been travel all over the world, and it has been a great experience for me. And I have picked up some language like a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Philippine.
Oh, Tagalog,
yes. And I had improved my English a lot, because before I wasn't able to follow conversation.
Oh, well, you've done a very fine job. Oh, and I'll see you back here on July 19th for the Miss Universe pageant.
Yes.
Oh, that's grand. And now, let's consider a delicious solution to tomorrow's dessert problem from Duncan Hines. Well, there they are, 15 nervous semi-finalists all set on stage for the swimsuit competition. Now, the first step in this competition is for the judges to see the girls in a group and make comparison notes. And that gives me a chance to show you at home some pictures of the semi-finalists when they were little girls. First of all, here is Miss Nevada, looking rather tough with her hands on her hips. There she is, as she is now. This is Miss Arizona, with a sneaky smile on her face. And this smiling baby is Miss South Carolina. And there she is as she looks now. Well, now the girls are about to be judged individually in the swimsuit competition, so we'll go back to the stage.
And now may I present our 15 semifinalists in their Catalina swimsuits in the swimsuit competition. Miss Virginia.
Miss Virginia is Wendy Dascom. She's from Danville. She has blonde hair and hazel eyes, is 5 feet 9 inches tall, and weighs 124 pounds.
Miss Connecticut.
Miss Connecticut is Elizabeth Wonderman, and she's from Wilton. She's 21 years old. She has dark auburn hair and brown eyes, is 5 feet 8 inches tall, and weighs 123 pounds.
Miss Arizona.
Miss Arizona is Ruth Harris. She's from Tempe. She's 5 feet 8.5 inches tall, weighs 125 pounds. She has blonde hair and brown eyes. She's 20 years old.
Miss Washington.
Miss Washington is Deborah Giberson. She's from Seattle. She's 19 years old. She has very blonde hair and very blue eyes. She's 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 125 pounds.
Miss Hawaii.
Miss Hawaii is Stephanie Quintana. She's from Honolulu. She's 22 years old. She has black hair and dark brown eyes. She's 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 113 pounds.
Miss New York.
Miss New York is Rosemary Hladek. She's from West Hempstead, Long Island. She's 20 years old. She has chestnut hair and brown-green eyes. She's 5 feet 7.5 inches tall and weighs 126 pounds.
Miss South Carolina.
Miss South Carolina is Eva Engel. She seems to be a big favorite here tonight. She's from Casey, South Carolina, and she's 18 years old. She has brown hair and green eyes. She's 5 feet 10 inches tall, the tallest girl in the pageant, and she weighs 130 pounds.
Miss New Mexico.
Miss New Mexico is Mary Gard. She's from Gladstone. She has brown hair, hazel eyes. She's 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighs 130 pounds, and she's only 20 years old.
Miss California.
Miss California is Croas Hayes. She's from Sacramento. She's 22 years old, 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 119 pounds, and has brown hair and blue eyes. And they're whistling at her.
Miss Nevada.
Miss Nevada is Karen Enslinger. She's from Las Vegas, and she's 19 years old. She's 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 118 pounds. She has brown hair and blue eyes.
Miss Texas.
Miss Texas is Sandra Drews. Sandy Drews. She's from Dallas. She's 23 years old. She has light brown hair and blue eyes, 5 feet 8 inches tall, and weighs 120 pounds.
Miss Florida.
Miss Florida is Maria Huzquera. She's from Plant City. She's 19 years old. She has dark brown hair and dark brown eyes, 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighs 125 pounds.
Miss Alabama.
Miss Alabama is Hipsy Parnell, and she's from Thomasville. She's 20 years old. She has brown hair and brown eyes, 5 feet 7 inches tall, and weighs 125 pounds.
Miss Colorado.
Miss Colorado is Susan Hawkins. She's from Colorado Springs. She's 23 years old. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. She's 5 feet 7.5 inches tall and weighs 135 pounds.
Miss Vermont.
Miss Vermont, who's a great favorite here tonight, is Mary Verdiani. She's from Montpelier, and she's 19 years old. She has ash blonde hair and brown eyes. She's 5 feet 7¼ inches tall and weighs 126 pounds.
And there you have the swimsuit competition. Now, girls, will you please promenade for the judges?
In the company of such beautiful girls, the first question that pops into my head is, what are their beauty secrets? So, I've asked around and come up with some pretty unusual ones. 3 of the girls told me that they stand on their heads at least 5 minutes a day as a beauty trick. And that's exactly 5 minutes a day longer than I do. Miss North Dakota believes beauty comes from outdoor sports, so she has held the national record for the 70-yard hurdles. There are several karate experts among the girls, and if that doesn't improve the figure, at least no one will argue with you about it. Actually, all of the girls I talk to agree that the real key to beauty is a healthy, well-balanced diet and lots of sleep, which is just what my mother always told me. Oh, yes, and here's a word from April Fresh Downy Fabric Softener.
We have 3 very special guests with us tonight for the pageant, and here to introduce them is John Gary.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. As you know, each year the pageant is very happy and pleased to welcome back as special guests former holders of the title of Miss USA. May I present them to you now? Miss USA of 1964, Bobby Johnson Kaufman. Miss USA of 1967, Cheryl Patton Allen. Miss USA of 1966, Maria Remigny. And Miss USA of 1965, Sue Ann Downey Olson.
Thank you, John. A few years ago, the pageant instituted a special feature called the Miss USA Super Extravaganza Production Number, starring the girls themselves. Now, it was the highlight of the evening, and it has become a regular feature of the pageant. Each one of our 51 beauty delegates to the Miss USA Beauty Pageant learns and rehearses this number because until the 15 semifinalists are selected, no one knows who will be in the performance. So, prepare yourselves, because now, minus the 15 semifinalists, we are about to present on this very stage, at this very moment, the Miss USA Precision Singers and Dancers.
Of course, it's nice to have a beautiful home, a brassy orchestra with trumpets and all. But if you really want to make it a ball, you better have me there. The life of the party, of course, the setting has a glamorous touch, and so do spotlights, color cameras, and such. But if you want
was beautiful, girls. Girls, that was beautiful. We were a little concerned in rehearsal. A couple of states seceded during that. Now, before I ask the reigning Miss USA to say a few words of farewell, I would like to have you meet our Guard of Honor. As a salute to the armed forces and representing some of America's finest men, may I present from the Coast Guard, Fireman Falls W. King. From the Army, Specialist 5th Class, William J. Long. From the Navy, Lieutenant Joe C. Morris. From the Air Force, Captain Robert Mazzei. And from the Marines, Master Sergeant Thomas B. Lott. And now the young lady who has traveled the world representing our country's lovely ladies, the reigning Miss USA, Dee Dee Enstadt.
You know, although this has been a terrific year for me, I feel that somehow my personal experiences seem insignificant in a year that has seen so much violence and divisiveness among my own fellow Americans. As Miss USA, I had a chance to catch a glimpse of the lives of so many different people across America, and I have seen strong regional differences. But I know one thing that joins people together is simply the desire to enjoy the good life that America offers. The poor merely want the same opportunities as those born into better circumstances. Minority groups want the same opportunities as others might have. And the man who has earned his success naturally wants this to be secure to him. I've met so many good people this year, so many well-intentioned Americans, so many loving people trying to communicate. In spite of all our problems, we have a great nation, and Americans are proud, honest people. They are seeking the answers. Thank you all for allowing me to represent you this year.
Well, as you know, Dee Dee Enstadt went on, after she was crowned Miss USA, to be chosen 4th runner-up in the Miss Universe pageant. And she tells me that after that pageant, she went home to Washington for a visit and found welcome home banners all over town. They had to keep those banners ready for action because in the past year, in between visits home, Dee Dee has traveled to Manila and Hong Kong and Paris and Brazil and to Rome for Christmas. Dee Dee tells me that she plans to go back to school at the University of Washington, major in education, and become a teacher. I think the school children in Washington certainly have something to look forward to. And right now, in case you've ever wondered what tomboys look like, stay with us.
And now we've come to the moment when we present our 15 semifinalists in their evening gowns. The judges will see them, mark their ballots, and I'll be handed a paper with the names of the 5 finalists, one of whom will be Miss USA of 1969. Ladies and gentlemen, here are our 15 semifinalists. Miss Virginia, Wendy Dascom. Miss Connecticut, Elizabeth Wanderman. Miss Arizona, Ruth Harris. Miss Washington, Deborah Giberson. Miss Hawaii, Stephanie Quintana. Miss New York, Rosemary Joyce Raddick. Miss South Carolina, Eva Engel. Miss New Mexico, Mary Gard. Miss California, Troas Hayes. Miss Nevada, Karen Esslinger. Miss Texas, Sandy Drews. Miss Florida, Maria Pulcara. Miss Alabama, Pitsy Parnell. Miss Colorado, Susan Hawkins. Miss Vermont, Mary Verdiani. And there you have our 15 semifinalists. And now, judges, you have 5 minutes in which to select 5 finalists, so please go to work. Now, to sing just for our 15 semifinalists, let's bring back our guest star, John Gary. Here he is, John Gary.
A certain girl, some certain girl, is gonna happen along, come along one wonderful day. She's sure to smile, that certain smile, and it'll tickle you so, make you go around in the dopiest way, though you were free and happy to be. She'll come along, swishing her skirt and walking that certain walk, that certain girl. And from that moment on, you're totally through. There's nothing you can't possibly do but spend your lifetime wooing that certain girl. Though you were free and happy to be,
If you can look over my shoulder, you can see the judges marking their ballots for the 5 finalists. But they themselves will not know which 5 girls have been chosen until Bob Barker reads the names aloud, since each judge marks his personal choices and all the votes are tabulated by the accountant. And most important, the judges are not allowed to confer with one another. Now, you at home can talk it over if you want and come up with one list. But I think it's kind of fun to have separate lists and see who's the best judge of beauty, and then you can spend all tomorrow and all next week arguing about it. So start making out your list right now, because in just a minute, we'll hear who the judges selected. And we'll be right back after this word about the Green Phantom from Scope.
I'm standing by the judges here waiting for the decision on the 5 finalists. The judges are relaxed because they've made their decisions, but the accountants over here are hard at work. And we will have it any moment. Do you have it? Good. He's just filling in the states now. The figures are all added up. It'll just take a moment. I'll have this paper, which will have 5 names on it. One of these 5 girls will be Miss USA of 1969. The other 4 will be the runners-up. This is probably the longest wait our 15 semifinalists have ever had. May I have it, please? There we go. All right. Here we go. The first of our 5 finalists is Miss Virginia. And she is going to be joined by Miss Arizona. And Miss South Carolina. Number 4 is Miss California. And the last spot is taken by Miss Vermont. And here are our 5 finalists. And now, girls, in the last moments of the pageant, we come to the questioning of the 5 finalists for the consideration of our judges. Now, because it is so very important to be absolutely fair, each of you girls will have the opportunity to answer the same question. And I should remind you that the poise you display and the manner in which you answer the question will help our judges choose the winner. Now, Miss Virginia, would you please step over to this microphone facing the judges? Will you 4 girls just step forward, please, and walk in front of me right over here to our soundproof booth. Suzanne Venhorst, Miss Hospitality, will show you in, and in there you will not hear the answers of the other contestants. All right, Miss Virginia. I would like to have you direct your answer to our judges here, if you will, please. Perhaps you should step up just a little near the microphone. No? All right. Your question is, would you tell the judges 2 facts about yourself that they do not know by looking at you or did not learn from my interview with you? Anything you'd like to have them know about yourself?
Well, I try to be an individual, which I feel is important in this day and time, to be yourself. And this is an attempt on my part, but I guess maybe y'all can't see it. And another thing, I'm clumsy. Y'all don't know that yet. Maybe you notice by my bruises, but other than that, those are the 2 things.
All right, Miss Virginia, would you please step back over here? There you are. And now, Miss Arizona, would you please step up to this microphone? These are our judges, of course. The question that I want you to answer for them: would you tell the judges 2 facts about yourself that they do not know by looking at you or did not learn from my interview with you? Right ahead and speak to them.
I love people, and I love to travel.
Very nice. Right over here, Miss Virginia. And now, Miss Vermont, would you please step out here to the microphone? And I would like to have you speak to the judges. The question is, would you tell the judges 2 facts about yourself that they do not know by looking at you or did not learn from my interview with you?
One thing that you might not have known is that I have a serious side. I don't know. Also, I'm very interested in art, and I'd like to go into some kind of art as a career, and I don't think anyone knew that.
All right. Thank you, Miss Vermont. There you go. And now, Miss California, would you please step out to the microphone? I want you to direct your answer to the judges. Would you tell the judges 2 facts about yourself that they do not know by looking at you or did not learn from my interview with you? Right ahead.
2 facts about myself.
Yes.
One is that I think I'm understanding. I try to understand other people's problems. And the second is I think I'm selfish. At times, I think everyone is selfish, but I do think I'm selfish.
Well, all right. There you go. Now, we have our last finalist, Miss South Carolina, to hear from. Would you please step up to the microphone? And these are the judges. I'd like to have you speak to them. Your question is, would you tell the judges 2 facts about yourself that they do not know by looking at you or did not learn from my interview with you?
2 facts that I suppose you do not know about me. One would be that I wear a size 10 shoe, and the other would be that I can't see you very well. Thank you.
The second is that you cannot see them very well. All right. Step right over here. Judges, you have heard our 5 finalists. The decision is yours.
Every year, I'm a wreck watching the girls in this question and answer period because I know how scared I'd be if I were under that kind of pressure. But it is important for the judges to get some idea of how each girl would handle herself in an unprepared situation. The new Miss USA will be interviewed by reporters all over the world under just such conditions. The judges are making their ballots for the last time right now. They're marking them for the last time, so you do the same. Pick the 4 runners-up and the girl you think will be chosen Miss USA 1969. This is really the most exciting time of the pageant. Everyone sees the 5 finalists on stage, and everyone knows how excited they each are and how important the next few minutes are to them. It's an agonizing wait for them until the judges' votes are counted and all tallied up. Now, let's join some unbelievers as they learn about an unbelievable detergent.
And now, while our judges are keeping us all in suspense, I would like to present to you again Miss USA of 1968, Dee Anstedt, and Miss USA of 1965, Sue Ann Downey Olson. And all of the girls here in the pageant are familiar with the Miss USA creed. We're proud to present it to you right now. Sue Ann, would you please read it as Dee Anstedt makes her final walk?
We, representing the states of the United States in the Miss USA beauty pageant, in order to further the cause of peace, justice, and mutual understanding, do solemnly dedicate ourselves to the highest ideals of sportsmanship, friendship, and goodwill among all the people of the United States.
Now the judges' decisions are in. They're checking the final figures here, and we will have Miss USA of 1969 in just a moment. I am ready. Thank you, sir. Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. I have the names of the 4 runners-up and Miss USA of 1969. The 4th runner-up for the title of Miss USA is Miss California. The 3rd runner-up is Miss Arizona. And the 2nd runner-up is Miss South Carolina. Miss Vermont, will you please step down here? And Miss Virginia, will you step down here? Both of you on the stage with me. Now, one of you girls will be the 1st runner-up, and one of you will be Miss USA of 1969. And, of course, the position of 1st runner-up is very important because if for any reason Miss USA cannot fulfill her obligation, then the 1st runner-up becomes Miss USA. The 1st runner-up is Miss Vermont. Miss USA is Miss Virginia. Congratulations. Yes. Give Wendy a round, please, baby. There you go. And John Gary has your scepter here, Wendy. Congratulations. Now, Sergeant, if you please, will you take her out to the audience, Miss USA of 1969?
Well, Miss Virginia, Wendy Dascom has been chosen Miss USA. Miss USA of 19...
Wendy, would you just stop here by me for a moment? I know that this is probably trite, but how do you feel this very moment?
It's hard to describe. It's just a happy feeling.
Well, you know, as I recall, you were the 1st girl selected among the semifinalists.
I was the last one selected among the swimsuit finalists.
The swimsuit finalists were chosen on Wednesday night, and our television audience was not a part of that, but of course that was a part of the judging. Well, now, this must be a tremendous thrill. Is there anything that's happened in your life before that compares with this?
Nothing at all.
Is any of your family here from Virginia for the pageant?
Well, my family's not from Virginia. They're from Louisiana, but they're all here. All 10 of them.
I'm sure that back in Virginia they'll want to see you. So you step right over here now to the photographers. Will you please, Wendy? Right there. That's the girl.
Well, Wendy Dascom, Miss Virginia has been chosen Miss USA of 1969, and this has been a night she will always remember. Tomorrow she'll start her one-year reign as Miss USA, traveling all over the world, meeting hundreds of important people, and maybe her future husband. She has a wonderful year ahead of her. And just 8 weeks from tonight, July 19th, Wendy will represent the USA in this Universe pageant here in Miami Beach, where she'll be competing with girls from all over the world. Bob Barker will be back, I'll be back, and I hope you'll be back for the television debut of that spectacular pageant. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Miss USA Beauty Pageant. See you July 19th. This is June Lockhart saying goodnight for Bob Barker and myself.
The Miss USA Beauty Pageant was presented live from Greater Miami by the makers of Gain, the unbelievable detergent, Crest, the toothpaste that fights cavities, and by April Fresh Downy. Remember to join us in 8 weeks, Saturday, July 19th, for the Miss Universe Beauty Pageant. From the land of sand and surf, this is Chuck Zink saying good night.